This is a HeadGum podcast.
Celebrity Book Club.
Hi, my name is Theresa. I'm a medium. Have you ever used a medium before?
I have never used a medium before. My aunt's sister's cousin is a psychic. She did pass away due to a melanoma-related car accident, and I am familiar with your work, but I've never seen a medium before.
Okay, so what I do is spirit just comes to me, and all I ask is that even if you don't believe in the work that mediums do, you just remain open to what spirit has to say to you.
Oh, I'm open.
Okay, great.
My husband is a skeptic. So if you see him making some faces over here, that's not me.
Believe me, if I had a dime for every husband who's a skeptic, I would have bought all of DSW Warehouse.
I love their saddlebags.
2 hours yesterday, I bought these sparkly wedges. And that is the thing. I was, I wanted these sparkly wedges, and I kept on seeing them. And that is the work. And spirit came to me, and it's my nanny, actually.
I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up right now. My mother used to wear sparkly wedges. She hasn't passed yet, but I just always wanted them.
I'm feeling a choke a little bit in my throat.
Oh.
It's almost like a dander. I'm getting wicked allergies here. Do you have a cat?
Oh my God, I do.
Is she around? Because I'm getting these.
She died. She died choking on my other pet, my fish.
Because I'm allergic to cats. And so that's the spirit comes into me, and that's the dander. She's here. So this is me letting you know that your cat is present, and she has come forth and wants to let you know that she is okay. And the decisions that you made is what you had to do. And she did not want you to feel guilty of that, because she knows she was in pain. And you seeing her in pain made her feel even more pain.
I always blame myself because I wasn't supposed to leave the door to the washer-dryer room open, and that's where we kept the fish. That's where we kept Tulsi, who was a fish. And then Miss Veronica, who was a cat, she went in there one day, and she ate Tulsi, and I lost two of my best friends on the same day, and he said this was my fault.
No, I was thirsty coming over here, but I'm not thirsty anymore. And that is Miss Veronica saying that is coming forward with spirit?
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Did Tulsi suffer?
Tulsi didn't suffer. And that Miss Veronica, that's the water that I'm filling my throat, is that Tulsi, she's saying she was going to go, whether it was Miss Veronica, who had a little snack. Tulsi was sick. Miss Veronica is saying, I knew Tulsi was sick. And so she was actually putting Tulsi out of her pain.
I told you, George, it was a time. It was a time. She had to go. It was a time.
And they both want you to know they had a beautiful life. A beautiful life.
Right.
Your laundry room was the most beautiful place she could have ever lived.
Right.
I know. She's so... Cat, she was a character, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was really silly.
Okay.
She would run around in circles. She would always be doing circles. Like, what you doing in there, Tulsi? What are you training for the marathon?
No, that's because I just started getting dizzy. I just started getting dizzy.
Okay, that's her doing the circles.
That's the circles. And she wants you to know that she's still chasing that tail. She is still running in circles. And I want to thank you for letting me inside your house and for letting spirit connect with you.
Thank you so much. You have given us peace that we have never known.
God bless.
Who's that knocking at the door? It's all your friends, you filthy whore. Your husband's gone and we've got books and a bottle of wine to kill.
It's Hollywood.
It's books.
It's gossip.
I'm shook.
It's memoirs.
It's martinis.
It's Studio 54.
It's Celebrity Book Club. Come read it while it's hot. Celebrity Book Club. Tell your secrets, we won't talk. Celebrity Book Club. No boys are allowed. Celebrity Book Club. Say it loud and proud. Celebrity Book Club.
Buzz me in, I brought the Cuervo. Hey, best friend!
OMG.
Oh my God.
What a week I have had just being in the presence of all of my dead loved ones.
No, this week has been crazy because Spirit has been really present in both of our homes.
Yeah. I have a very specific through line that really made itself apparent, like after reading this book, which I do want to really dive into.
No, we will really dig into. And we have so much to talk about, even though, of course, we have seen each other this week. But
there's so much that we haven't talked about.
There's a lot we haven't talked about.
There's a lot of dead folks who have not made their way into our conversation that maybe need to make
also
themselves
haven't made themselves visible because, as you know, sometimes if it's actually a recent passing,
right,
they do take a while.
But
sometimes
also,
to enter.
For spirit to enter, you need to be open to the entering.
Exactly, through meditation or yoga or just kind of driving your big SUV throughout Long Island, because we are talking about none other than Theresa Caputo's
There's More to Life Than This.
Healing Messages, Remarkable Stories, and Insight About the Other Side. And also, Theresa Caputo, also known as
the Long Island Medium.
The Long Island Medium is a long-running television program on the TLC network.
I want to say 13 seasons, anyone?
Well, and now it's like she's that, and I feel like now it's like Theresa Caputo, Here and Now, and that's her like doing Zoom readings, and it's like her new show, and her kids has spin-offs.
Her kids have a spin-off show called Caputo Kids. She's an institution. She has huge hair. She's like 5'2".
Small body, big toes, big hair, big sass.
Italian-American icon.
Yes.
High heels.
Oh, yeah.
The higher the hair, the closer to God, which she does quote in the book. And she says, well, that's true. And her hair is like so
Is that
large.
her tagline, or is that just like a classic, like,
that's like a classic
60s
50s
beehive
thing. Beehive Texas slogan, I feel.
Okay, like higher hair, closer to God, like hairspray, right.
I feel like that's so The Help. It's just being like, the higher the hair, the closer to God, ladies.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to really get into this book, but she says in the book that spirit, being a medium, is genetic. And she thinks...
for her it is. The way that everything is qualified, where it's like everything can either be a sign or not. And yes, free will completely exists, but yes, fate completely exists.
No.
And everything is fated, but everything can also be free will. And if something happens, like, it could totally be fate, and that's what fate is.
But then she's like, well, I actually was a Russian orphan in a past life who was raped and murdered, and my daughter was my prison guard.
Okay, wait, so can we just
Let's dive
really
in.
quickly read that section because I have it saved?
Okay.
She's talking about all her past lives. I learned it's because I overcame these events with the ability to still love unconditionally that I was given the gift I have. In these lives, I was an official during the Roman Empire who was killed on my son's wedding day. A young girl who was held prisoner in a jail for a crime that wasn't her fault. A child with a joyful soul despite a crippling disability. And an orphan in Russia. This last one had a tremendous impact on my soul. After the man who ran the facility took me in, I stayed on to work with him.
Also,
no, this facility.
The Russian
in
facility.
Vladivostok. Yeah. So, of course, you know the facility I'm referring to. I overcame my struggles and paid it forward. In this life, the man who ran the orphanage is now my son, Larry, and a child who did not want to leave when he was adopted is my nephew, Jason. It's like, I'm sorry, so your own son is the reincarnation of this orphan master from Tsarist Russia that you lived in?
But it's like, so now you get to control him and tell him to clean his room?
But I guess it's more benevolent and being like, this guy...
I guess it sounds like maybe he was actually like a nice orphan master in like Tsar Russia.
Yeah.
And
he was one of the good ones.
And also when she's like a Roman general. Yeah, I mean, gender binary is broken here, by the way.
Well, I mean, it's still binary. She's not saying I was a non-binary general in the past.
I meant
she wasn't this they general in ancient Rome.
Okay, but I mean, wasn't Nero bi? Maybe non-bi.
I think everyone in ancient Rome was bi.
Okay.
They were all pederasts. They all fucked young boys. And they were all like, it was more like, it was very age society where it's like, the older you got, the more of a top you became. And I do kind of agree with that.
Well, that's true. So the episode I watched was about, she went to Fire Island, which was so iconic.
Wait, did she do gay readings?
Yeah.
Wait, fuck. I need to watch
that episode. And she's like, I live right by Fire Island. She's like, but I'm so nervous because I hate boats. And so
so many phobias.
So in the book, like, I'll get back to this Fire Island thing, but her childhood was super crazy because she didn't know that she had spirit, and spirit was contacting her all the time, so she could
had
have
a
nightmares.
lot of anxiety.
And she's like, I grew up with a picture-perfect life. Nanny and Pop down the street. Like, we know Sunday dinner, pasta, like everything.
No, she
so
keeps saying there
meatballs.
was
I'm like,
not a single bad thing about her childhood. I'm just being like, it sort of like reeks of at least one creepy uncle in there.
Oh,
I
well,
can't
okay.
imagine just like 30% of the neighborhood girls like weren't getting molested.
Okay, I was getting mad at my girlfriend because I was like reading this aloud and like she overheard me sobbing the thing and she was so like,
I'm sorry.
"What?"
Meanwhile, your girlfriend is living in fantasy
world.
She's reading like
Fan fiction.
24/7 about like time traveling, like sword wielding samurai lesbians. And it's just like, oh, but you can't cry in a book about.
Thank you. And then
Talking
so
to the
in the
dead.
Fire Island part, this gay guy, they're at an ice cream store and she turns to him and she's like, why am I sensing a watch? And she's talking to this gay guy and he has like, obviously he's wearing a huge watch.
Yeah, it's like, why are you sensing a watch? You're sensing this massive G-Shock.
Yeah. No. It was like his father's watch that he took off his father after his father passed. And they had a tense relationship. She's like, I'm sensing your father had a watch. And it's like, he's wearing this huge watch. And it's kind of like, and I was being so classic skeptic, just like mediums and like psychics, they just read from body language. And she was like, I'm sure she has people in the audience who listen for people talking.
So I think there's two things here. First of all, there's all the skepticism that's like, she like researches your Facebook before the group reading, whatever. That I don't think is true.
No.
I don't need to do that. As you know, we've seen a mentalist.
Yes.
Like in Las Vegas. And like, I think that there
We need to talk
definitely is a
about that.
degree
Yes.
of mentalism going on
Yes.
here. But I don't really think she's a con artist
No.
per se. I think that she genuinely is extremely Catholic. I think that she genuinely wants you to be able to like move beyond your grief and your loss over the loss of your loved ones.
And sense things from the beyond.
Yes. And I think
Which is actually what's weird is that that's actually not a Catholic thing because Catholicism doesn't
well,
believe in past lives.
Yeah, she kind of mentions a lot, just like, oh, Catholic, you're not supposed to talk to the dead.
Yeah.
It's like, it's illegal, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of the many rules.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in there somewhere, just like
Oh, do you think she got molested by a priest?
Book of Theresa. I think they're more into man, just from what I've heard.
Okay.
Yep. It's like maybe a little less of the homosexuality area, sure, when we're talking about Catholic.
Oh, so I'm sorry. So Theresa getting molested, me saying Theresa got molested by a Long Island priest in 1975. I'm erasing like full spotlight, like male pedophilia.
Yes.
I don't think. You don't think I've seen Spotlight 5 times
This week?
this fucking week? I saw it in theaters twice, dude. Okay,
Did you really?
twice. Yeah, I saw it once. I feel like with friends and once with
Alone?
my stepmother or my father's companion.
Wow.
So my dad didn't want to go, and it was like Christmas. She was like, "Let's go to the movies."
I wonder why your dad didn't want to go. That's a conversation for spirit.
I mean, I'll just say this. My father always said, I don't like to sit in the front row at church.
I mean, I don't want to fucking sit in the front row either.
Yeah,
I'm
who
not
does?
a fucking loser. That's a fucking goody two shoes raising his hand like a little
No,
bitch.
oh, me, front row.
Pick me. Also, because you can't leave if you're in the front row.
Yeah, that's so awkward.
I'm trying to bounce.
You get the church giggles.
Yeah.
My mother got in a fight with the priest at my baptism. Which I need to learn more about. I don't know what the fight was about.
It's kind of insane that you were baptized.
No, I know. At St. Paul's Church, Cambridge. Beautiful. By Grafton Pub or whatever. It's kind of like by Una's. It was like behind Una's, a thrift store.
It's like off Mass Ave?
With,
It's in Havant Square.
It's in Havant Square. Yeah, off Mass Ave. When Mass Ave kind of turns to go to Central.
Sure.
On this little side street.
Okay.
Gorgeous Catholic church.
Is it brick?
Yeah, stone.
Okay.
Gray stone.
Oh,
But you know what
okay.
Batley's is?
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of behind that, and like a street behind that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too far from that Havant staff packing. Do you remember who was used to back there?
Oh, yeah, you got a ticket?
You got a ticket from a fucking Havant cop.
Yeah. Oh,
Fuck it.
a little fake cop.
Little fucking rent-a-cop.
Yeah. Anyway, there is a whole photo album of my baptism, and there's like a sexy photographer, and I guess that was also a theme that like my mom and my aunts were like so hot for this photographer from baptism.
There was this like male like 80s photographer who had like such like Michael Bolton hair and
No,
like
he was like a big beard,
billowy
tweed
shirt.
coat, tight black jeans, big camera.
Wait, obsessed.
Yeah, I'll show you the pics if you're lucky, bitch.
Fuck. Is he still around?
I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, so your mother was Catholic, but
My mom is very like ex-Catholic, like no longer a Catholic vibes. Like her childhood was traumatic, doesn't want to really like bring that energy into the future. And my dad, of course, is just like a boring wasp.
What is he, Lutheran wasp?
They're just
Something?
like wasp. They like went to church but like didn't talk about it. It was like so 50s where they like didn't. I just learned this week that my grandmother wouldn't let my grandfather talk about his work at the dinner table.
No politics at the table?
No
work at
politics,
the
no work at the. Also, no like emotion.
Yeah, so just
like
full,
literally what? Are we
wait, this
talking
is your
about?
California Doug's mother.
Yeah.
So just full silence, and everyone is just like, "How was your after day?
How was your after day? How was your commute, father?"
Good.
I mean, it's very like the parents' names are mother and father, and
No, and then it's been like everyone has to like potatoes, iceberg salad, and it's just like.
Yeah, that was the vibe. But I was
anyway,
not baptized, just to sort of round that out.
I didn't think you were, but yeah.
No, I remember. I feel like the first even like a relationship with religion was I remember when I was like 8. And my mom was like, we're going to go to 7 a.m. Easter Mass on the ski slopes.
No, that's so your family just
Where
like
it was, like,
sloped mass.
Slopeside Mass. And it was like, we've never been to church before in my entire life, but like, you're going to go to this like activation that's like on the slopes at 7 a.m. And I was like, girl, it's so early. And I was just like 8 years old. I'm like, why on earth are we doing this? And we just sat in like the freezing cold.
This
just,
is
like,
what
in
I'm
the
saying
middle of the
about
snow.
ski vacations in 90s upper middle class parents of just so like, why are you guys so ski pilled? And just like, you all thought it would like make you be fabulous and it'd be an activity, but like it's actually so much work for the plan. I know, just like.
Well, you know, my mom's entire life has heard this performance of just like the New England Wasp and trying to just like erase her like poor Catholic childhood with this fantasy.
No, I mean, same with both my parents. That's also why we skied.
Right.
It's to erase your poor Catholic
Cambridge, yeah.
childhood. And my mom, when applying to BBNN, it was like, what are your hobbies? And she literally was like looking over at other people's applications. Someone wrote down skiing. She wrote down, we love to ski, had never been skiing in her life.
And that's why you got in, and that's why we're friends.
Literally, because of the skiing lie.
Hell yes.
Bitch. And that's why I'm literally wearing a skiing shirt today.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm wearing my ski
You're
merch.
keeping the lie alive.
Yes, lies, ski lies.
In honor of your mother.
But back to Theresa. So, okay, her childhood, yeah, she's like always screaming. And she gets married at like age 22. Her now ex-husband, Larry.
Who, okay, I always think that
His body is insane.
his body is actually sick as all hell.
Yeah.
To me, he's like the same exact person as Leia McSweeney's ex-husband on Real Housewives. Did you watch the most recent season of Roni with the new cast member, Leia?
No, sorry.
She's kind of insufferable, but she has like this brand called Married to the Mob that's just sweatshirts that say MTTM.
Oh,
And it's just,
I'm like, I feel like I've seen those sweatshirts.
it's just the fakest brand ever. There's not even any like concept. It just says the letters MTTM.
Married to the mob. Okay.
But her husband is also this like hot Guido who like who's like kind of chiseled and older looking and is like so gray mustache.
No, and like Teresa and Larry, I feel like were like such a fabulous couple. It's like they met at 20. She had like hair so tall. Like he also had huge hair. He's like still like fully 8-pack.
And they met because he was like a floor manager at his like Italian food importing.
Oh wait, yeah,
company.
he's an Italian food importer, and she was like a secretary or admin.
Every single scene in this book is just like
beyond
I was at
Long
Bed
Island.
Bath & Beyond, like with like full of meatballs, like on my way.
Oh, this is the best part, kind of the book and of her story.
Is it the Bed Bath & Beyond?
Yeah, do you have the part? Is that
haven't
I'll
seen
just say she had to like find out that she did have the talent of contacting spirit and find out that she was a medium. And the first time she truly used her gift was none other than at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay. I was in Bed Bath & Beyond, and I remember feeling like I couldn't take a breath. I'd established with spirit that this is a sign that someone's passed from the chest, heart, lungs, breasts, a filling up of fluid, or a drowning even. At one time, I would have gone into a tailspin, abandoned my cart in the middle of the aisle, hightailed it out of the store, but that day in Bed Bath & Beyond, I told myself I'd be okay. And then I heard a man's voice. "Tell my wife I like the ones on the left," he said. Nobody was there. Just then, an older woman came up to me with 2 sets of sheets. She told me she just lost a husband after 40 years of marriage and was redoing the bedroom. She couldn't decide which sheets she'd have liked better. I suggested the ones on the left, and it made her so happy.
It's like the most Long Island. It's like that's why she's the Long Island medium. It's like spirit is being sent to Bertucci's.
She speaks to people's dead Guido husbands and tell them what sheets to buy,
what towels, sheets. It's like only chain stuff. So she talks about. There's another moment. I forget what it is, but she mentions something about Sleepy's, the mattress store. Oh, where she's like talks about a woman whose her grandfather was visiting her so much, and he smoked so much, so it was filling up the house. And she was like, she was about to go back to Sleepy's for the third time and return her mattress. Like everything is kind of like home goods shopping based.
No, everything is in a strip mall. Just like it all comes back to Long Island suburban.
Total suburbia. But at the same time, it's like we are so like yesterday. It's like
wait, okay. The part when she says no, it's like when she also she says she hallucinates every time she has Chinese food. Because that message G like gives her like a trip.
She's like, so some of these things are PC. She has 2 guides.
But oh my god, her guides.
So her guides are
too. No, it's completely insane.
So she goes. She has this older friend, Pat, who's like her mother's friend.
Pat, who like regularly works. Okay, so this is where she actually just gets fully Catholic, and she's just like. So Pat works with a lot of the major archangels you may have heard of: Gabriel, Michael,
Saint John.
And like Gabriel does mostly super physical work, just like people who've been like had physical trauma. Michael works on emotional stuff. And
Saint Anthony. It was St. Anthony Day last week. And a lot of people don't know it's
I did know that.
It's the most Theresa Caputo holiday because no one really, it's like only an Italian holiday. And I know my grandmother, she always used to say, I'm going to pray to St. Anthony for you. Because you know what he does? He finds your lost things. I'd be like, Nana, I can't find my doll. She would take out her rosary. She had a rosary hanging. She goes, I'm going to pray to St. Anthony for you. It's the lost, which is, I feel like, so Theresa Caputo to be like, Ma, I can't find my hair gel. St. Anthony.
St. Anthony. It's always in the last place you look. Quote, St. Anthony.
And, okay.
Have you ever prayed to a saint when you can't find your Aquanut?
Well, I was saying I couldn't find my wallet. I was trying to go over here, and I put it in my pants, and I had to change pants, and I couldn't find it. St. Anthony.
St. Anthony. And then can I ask where the wallet was?
It was on the floor because
wow,
it was in my pants, and I put the pants away. Must have fallen out in the transfer.
And your father always used to walk around on the floor.
Exactly.
That was a message from him.
And that's why I'm getting a tattoo. She talks about this woman whose baby died. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
The footprints
as the body of the butterfly. So it's wings on footprints.
Also, of course, it's so long in mediums. Like she's always like, everyone is always contacting you through butterflies, and it's like, yeah, everyone has a tramp stamp of a butterfly.
Everyone has a butterfly tramp stamp. The episode we were just watching of that like group reading at just like whatever, like the Verizon Center, like in Newark. She's talking to a room of 3,000 people. She's like, I'm getting butterflies.
They're all raising their hands. So in that way, it's like, if you ask me, I don't believe really in ghosts. I don't really believe in mediums, but I believe in Caputo.
Thank you.
Okay.
I agree.
Celebrity Book Club.
After also her live shows, she says she feels spirit come to her physically.
She also says, do you remember she says that anytime she sees Sonny Bono, it means that someone died in a ski accident.
She's like, and of course, my sign for ski accidents is Sonny Bono. So she also does have a full section about celebs and how Michael Jackson has come to her. It's, of course, like the most folkloric celebs that we all say are alive. The celebs that have come to her are Elvis, Whitney Houston, Tupac.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with your use of the word folkloric. I think that was like actually very sort of like bang on use of it.
Thank you, mate.
No, it's like these absolute like iconic, just like rumored to be undead celebs. Yeah. And it's like, okay.
I should be like, she said, I wasn't even a fan of Whitney Houston, but that's so funny because 2 days ago, my friends and I were in a car when I Will Always Love You came on the radio, and you're like, so one of the most popular songs
ever, and it came on while you were listening to just like the Long Island equivalent of Mix 98.5, the best 80s, 90s today, and it's just like, there's element of it that's shooting fish in a barrel, where it's just like, okay, you're telling a group of Guidos that like someone has a butterfly tattoo that someone still thinks Elvis is alive. It's like, yeah, I'm sure.
Also, and again, like love Long Island, but I do feel like that is a place where like people in their 20s pass.
Oh, wait. Okay, so this brings me to a larger point that I want to make about the book. And thank you for bringing this up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this book is a microcosm of America and how deeply sick and unhealthy our country is.
Yes.
Because she deals with a lot of people who have experienced a recent loss. And I think that her philosophy, I would say, is somewhere between like the, so-called neoliberal point of view, which is like...
To connect the word neoliberal to
Theresa Caputo
is the funniest thing ever.
And that's the hard-hitting cultural analysis that you come to this pod for. But she, like, where she doesn't necessarily think that, like, everything is your choice, which I would say is the neoliberal thing, where it's just like, it's your fault if you're fat, depressed, whatever. You have to, like, make the choice to, like, harness your life or whatever. But she also... she says that, like, some stuff is fated, but, like, some stuff isn't. And it's not, like, it's totally, like... She also doesn't think that, like, society is responsible for everything. Like, she has no concept of, like, there being, like, societal ills that, like, affect people. Like, that's not in her vocabulary. It's just, like, if something happens that's out of your control, it's because that was God's choice.
Right. And then she'll be like, and people do say to me, she's like, I had a woman who was very angry at God because, like, my husband got killed by a drunk driver
it's like,
on his way home with overtime.
It's like, maybe you should be mad at American society because it's like, so much of this book is people who have died of melanoma, and like obviously every like Guido is like so overtanned in just like New Jersey and Long Island, but like people who have died of cancer, of disease, like car accidents, drunk driving, suicide.
It's a lot of suicide, and then it's like
addiction,
a lot of addiction. You're like, this is it. I feel like
it's
not the fentanyl.
And I think Long Island is a microcosm of America in this way because, the demographics may shift, like, the whatever the cause of death may be more or less in other parts of the country where you have, gun violence or drugs or whatever, but
big suburban place,
area. Okay.
Close to a city
where you have, an absolute like lack of healthcare infrastructure. You have an isolated and atomized society that has been like,
you also
aided and abetted.
Huge wealth. We have Long Island Times that people have left the city because they can't even afford the city.
They can't afford the
city.
city.
You have poor communities, but then you also have the huge Nassau County. I'm just throwing this out. Wealth disparity.
You have the American diet, which is just like so unhealthy. It has become psychotically unhealthy over the past 100 years. You have like, no public transportation infrastructure.
Well, that's actually it's called the Long Island Railroad. So actually more than like a Kansas.
Yeah, but that just takes you like long distances. It's not just like a local public transportation. Everyone is still driving their massive
they're driving
massive
like, SUVs.
There's
I'm just saying that Long Island has a little bit. I just want to call you in for 1 second about that. Long Island has a little bit more transportation.
No.
I'm
actually going to call you in for a second because the Long Island Railroad has deteriorated in the quality of service over the past 20 years, and that is because a lack of investment in public services on the part of the state government.
You don't think I want the Long Island Railroad to have as much money as they should? I'm going to give my whole stimulus check to the Long Island Railroad, okay?
You just write to Cuomo. Use on LIRR only. No, and a healthcare system that pushes pills and that pushes expensive procedures over preventative care, and all of these things are like I think come up on almost like every page of this book with all these causes of death, and it's like. I think you could read this book and really see it as an indictment.
Well, it's kind of like in high school how there was a class at my school.
Or was this the
food
class?
Well, no, not food and culture, which we'll talk about that another time. That'll be the Bourdain episode. But Waltham, a mirror of American life. Waltham is a suburb of Boston that used to manufacture watches and now it doesn't.
Famously the place where Dzhokhar Sarnaev, the hot Boston bomber,
That's Watertown.
Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. Wow.
Wow, dude. Read up, huh? Read up.
I'm like literally not from Boston.
Yeah, read up.
Right next to Waltham. Well, they're close. He ran through Waltham on that chase. But he did hide in a boat in Watertown. You're correct.
No, nice trying to cover up over there.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. No, but Waltham, it's like, whatever manufactured watches, and now there's like Indian restaurants and Italian restaurants and tapas.
You and I both went to Drive as Ed in Waltham.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Am I making up you're making up your history? Didn't you go to CAMS?
No, Drivers Ed came to my school.
Wow.
That you could
You are so fucking fancy. You silver spoon-fed little bitch. Roxbury in Latin, Cambridge School of Weston. My father was a doctor. My mother
I
was
wish
a doctor.
I went to Roxbury Latin Boys School. Excuse me. No, but CAMS, where you went to driver's ed,
Right.
that's where you met the girl you set me up with on my first ever date.
Right. And I took you, it was a group date at a Guster concert.
Free Guster concert at the Government Center.
Government Center, right next to City Hall, which is a gorgeous, big, brutalist building downtown
And
Boston.
she asked you the question that I feel like we live our lives by.
Yeah. She said to me, when I was telling her about my lesbian friend Lily, because I think she had told me she was bi or something in driver's
And I remember
ed.
you were like, oh my God, we like didn't know anyone like our age.
Right.
Even though there were like older lesbians in my school, but obviously I was like intimidated. And anyway.
So it was like during a break from driver's ed, and I was telling about my friend Lily, and she just goes, is she a hippie or a preppy? And I was like, she's a hippie. And to this day, that is like, there are only two categories of person. There are two people in the world.
Yeah, hippie
There's
or preppies.
Hippies or preppies. Period.
Period.
And
Okay.
that's on period.
Yeah. It's like you don't need to ask, oh, but are they like normcore? Are they like,
Right.
you know,
Are they basic?
techno, basic? It's like, it's preppy or hippie, okay?
Hippie, bitch.
That's it.
Call it a day.
End of day. Anyway, so she brought her best friend, and we came, and
And for
then,
the record, we've had a lot of debates about this, but I am a preppy and you're a hippie.
yes, thank you for saying that. And then just to end the kind of that date story is then like you and her friend were like, okay, we're walking away. It's like
Who was her
midday.
friend?
Just like a girl.
A gay or girl?
No, it was a girl. And that's the thing. And that's why you like are the ultimate wingman. You are a champion because it's just
Thank
like
you.
you were down to just be like, okay, I'm going to go talk with this random Waltham chica
Yes.
for like, you know, how long? And then
I'm in my H&M ribbon belt and
Yeah, and
I'm
you're
at
like-
Government Center at 3 p.m., totally sober, and I'm going to talk to this other random Waltham girl while you talk to this. I remember her. She kind of had like kind of classic like early scene hair. I
yes,
feel.
it was bangs and
Sideswept, kind of bang.
And she was
moppy.
almost even more, she was actually much more vague because I think when that question, classic hippie, because she had that classic, like, super low bag.
Yeah, I was in the side low back below the hip, and it's like that thing be banging around.
Yeah, just bum, bum, bum. And I feel like I probably wore my, like, ska checkered skirt, maybe.
You were femme for Guster?
I feel like I was femme.
Hashtag femme for Guster.
Well, because I also think I probably was like, I actually should probably be femme because they're into like girls. So maybe I need to dress more like
right.
a girl.
And I'm sure if you had been so rockabilly butch, she would have actually been into you and she could have been your first girlfriend and you would have lost your virginity like 3 years earlier.
Damn.
You'd be so
dude.
fucking ahead of the game.
Yeah,
dog.
I know. And now I'm just like, oh, and then it's like,
And now you're like just getting your first dildo.
okay, not true. Stop spreading lies.
No, I know. As you've mentioned, you have a whole room full of it. Okay, I do want to mention, I want to get serious for a second. I actually do think that spirit is present.
Right now or this weekend?
In the past week that there has
Okay.
been an element of spirit. And it happened while reading this book. And it was this weird thing because she says like, basically one of her biggest points is that like, don't ignore coincidences. Like every coincidence is spirit. And it's like, okay,
Obviously,
sure.
the shoes, yeah.
But it is like, to that end, it's like if you actually follow, you know, your mind and where it goes, like just sort
That
of,
also is spirit.
yeah, that's the spirit.
Intuition is spirit.
It's literally
she
just
says.
intuition and basically like trust the vibe. I think could be like in some ways the
To
moral of
quote
this
Khloe
book.
Kardashian, vibes are vibes.
Vibes are vibes, as
Yeah.
Chloe says. Like, if you say Costa Rica vibes and you're not in Costa Rica, it doesn't mean that that's wrong because vibes are vibes and feelings are facts. Okay, so this is what was so weird. She was like, if you like get something, and she talked about like throat issues in the book. So let me preface this by saying the past few months, I've been going through a health question mark where I've had this a soreness in my throat that developed like a month and a half after I had surgery on my nose. And I was like, is it related to the surgery? Because it's an ENT doctor who goes in that whole area. And it started in December. And it's been going on and on. It's very persistent. Sometimes it comes to a good way. Seen a lot of doctors, been through all this stuff. Last week, we read Shania Twain.
Yeah.
In Shania Twain's book, she talks
About throat issues.
having a sore throat issue for like 3 or 4 months, as long as I've had it, while she was on tour, and it totally affected the tour, and they had like changed the way that they were like rehearsing and everything, and be much more conscious
And
of
it was
like
after the Mutt.
What?
divorce? Was it after the Mutt divorce?
The Mutt divorce? I think it was maybe before the Mutt divorce, but maybe that was part of it. Anyway, she had a lot of anxiety. She finally saw this doctor or therapist maybe that was like, the reason that you are actually having this real pain in your throat, that's a real soreness, is because you are so emotionally choked up and literally not crying and not letting your emotions out that you're having this feeling. And I have been... Producer Meg is literally clapping at this. And I have been very aware of it, right? The past few months, I have been like super aware that this could be psychosomatic. And I've said this to you, right?
You have been at an absolutely, I've sensed, as knowing you very well, a dark place.
I've been in a dark place. I've been very stressed and very anxious.
And obviously, again, it's a pandemic and
society is stressful. And this is what I'm saying, not to be neoliberal. I don't think it's my fault. I think it's society. However, I've also been very open to the idea that it could be psychosomatic. I've seen a bunch of different doctors. They've all said different things. Finally, I went to a follow-up last week. Yeah. The same week we went to Shania. And I had a visit with this doctor, chief resident at Bellevue, pardon me. And he gave me the full exam. He had looked at a CAT scan that I had the week before, all this stuff. And he literally said, there is nothing wrong with you. And he was like, you're having the symptoms. There's no, and that's true, but there is literally nothing wrong with you. My biggest fear is that you will overtreat this issue. And that...
Which is one of your biggest fears, to overtreat things.
Such a big fear to overtreat. And he was just like, I think this literally will get better on its own. And the best thing you can do is try to take less and less medication, just try to ignore it and be okay with it for the next few months, and it will get better when the weather gets better. And that almost placebo effect of him saying that gave me this release to be okay with it and to just sort of decide to move past it and table the anxiety about whether or not it's a real thing.
You had cancer, you had this,
or
the surgery went wrong.
Even whether or not it is psychosomatic, you know what I mean? Whether or not I am causing this by my own anxiety.
Did you feel when he said that, then you knew it was psychosomatic? So then you started dealing with the emotions of what it was?
What I felt was it doesn't even matter if it's psychosomatic or not, because what I need to do is deal with my own emotions and treat every single day as if it were, as if it's the day that I'm in, and not think about 3 weeks ahead or 6 months ahead or 1 week behind, or should I regret the surgery or whatever, and just be like, how do I enjoy this day? How do I go to bed tonight and feel like I've lived a full life, Mm-hmm. And so the fact that Theresa said this the week after we were with Shania, and I was like, wow, the fact that the Shania book and that doctor visit that was kind of a big release for me happened in the same week. That is spirit.
No, that is spirit also, because here's kind of a look behind, the curtain.
Right.
I don't know, no one's of the pod, is that usually, I feel like we more carefully plan out the 3 weeks, and Shania was a little bit the week before.
Oh my God, wait, I'm getting goosebumps. No, we did it last minute.
Yeah, and we were like, you know what, let's just do Shania.
Wait, I am going to cry because that actually is insane. I am getting goosebumps because we didn't actually plan it out so far in ahead. And we said, well, we have to do Shania because it's arriving in the mail or whatever. And then I read that part about the throat and I was like, wait, this could be me. And the doctor was like, maybe this is you. And
we almost did Caputo before Shania.
But we needed to do Shania
But it was all timing. We needed to do Shania. And that was gone.
I'm freaking out. Wait, this is so true.
This is crazy. And it was Theresa waiting for Spirit to come.
And we needed to read that
Because you weren't ready.
No,
you
I wasn't
ready.
I wasn't ready to see Spirit. Oh my God.
This is crazy. I'm going to cry.
I'm freaking out. This is so insane. This is so helpful to hear. Okay, this is why Spirit is real.
Well,
and
this is something so small about Spirit, but in this book is she mentions Spirit coming to her at Bertucci's. Did I not 2 weeks ago?
Wait, this is crazy.
I mentioned Bertucci's, not even know.
And you said in their Kevin Garnett episode, you said that's where you would want your announcement to be. And then she brought it up in this book. No other memoir we've ever read has mentioned Bertucci's.
I didn't even know that Bertucci's had location.
I didn't know either. I thought it was a New England only chain and there's one in Long Island.
We have to go, obviously.
It's also just this beautiful message of acceptance where it's just you can never change what's happened to you. You can never change the situation that you're in, at least all the events preceding up to the moment that you're in, And
what she says, usually when she is comforting someone who has a dead parent, is that just they always feel guilty. The living feel guilty for something they should have done, or how are they now? And I feel like she always does say, okay, Spirit is present and they want you to know you did all you can do, which is classic.
Yeah. I mean, she says that to pretty much everyone she sees on the show. And, there's literally no one who doesn't need to hear that.
Well, I'm just saying because that is after my father passed.
Right.
Almost a year ago.
It's almost a year ago.
A little over a year, but that is the main.
Oh, it's over a year now.
It was January 30th, 2020.
You're right. Of course, it was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, I was remembering that we had the memorial service scheduled for April.
For April. It was, for April, and then I had to cancel it.
But that's
on his
also
birthday.
spirit.
Well, that definitely was spirit telling me, and again, I'm not pro-pandemic or anything, but it was spirit. It was like I was so stressed out. I was like had barely even like realized he like died, and I was just like the stress of the last year of like him being so sick and the visiting, and then I was like, and so much. It was like his death has been obviously. It was like so much admin and blah blah blah, and it's like the pain, and then it was so like now I have to like be ordering. I mean, this is also Caputo. It was like I was on like the website for like Dave's Fresh Italian Pasta in Somerville, and it's like, and now I'm having to figure out how much salami I want. You know what I mean for this memorial, and I was like, I'm just truly not in a place to be like making an e-card and like ordering the salami and just like and that was spirit saying like, okay,
And
this
so
is just not the time.
Yeah, and spirit did cause a global pandemic that took the lives of
millions and millions of people. And
Yeah.
again, that is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying spirit was saying it's not the time to play a memorial.
No, and the thing is like whether or not what I think what Theresa would say is whether or not there was a pandemic,
Like-
the funeral would have been paused.
Yes.
And would have been stopped by time, and that would have been okay because you weren't ready to go through all those decisions right now, and that actually wasn't helping you grieve.
Right.
And what you needed was time alone and like to eventually find a therapist and like go through all of this process.
Go through that. So, I feel like I forgot if I've told you the story, but that I was visited by an angel who I don't know if I believe her, but now after reading this, I'm like, is it true?
When?
So I called my dad had a AAA account and then I like paid extra to be like a part of it. And so, but he was like head of the AAA account or something. So I had to call, which also has been like my life for the past year, is like canceling cards and canceling things and just like calling every person.
Remember, I had to call the
Steven imitated my dad to call Easy Pass because I couldn't find out the password. And of course, Easy Pass is like literally the CIA.
to cancel just like the automatic link to your like credit card to pay for the toll on the Mass Pike. And I was like,
Yeah, you had to be like, hello, this is Charles Murata. I want to switch cards. Like literally just so I could put it on my debit card and not his debit card.
and she made me play a guessing game to guess the code.
Oh my God. I mean, they're out of control over there on
Right.
Easy Pass.
And I was like, is it 3497? And she was like, there is a 7. I would just be like, is it 3567? And she was like, you're very close. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Is insane.
I'm just like, is this just fun for you?
Yeah.
So I called AAA to make myself, cancel his card and
Sure.
just be the only one. And I think because it was, a man and a woman on one AAA account, she did assume we were married
She assumed you were Charles Murata's wife.
because she was like, I'm so sorry for your loss. And she was also like Southern and speaking like so quietly. And then she was like, and do know that he is with you.
Wait, she said that to you?
And then she kind of went on and said she literally actually was an angel sent from God.
Wait, I'm sorry. I think you told me that's like what had happened, and it's like was so crazy that
It's
I'm
just
like,
too insane. So and I was like, oh, of course. She was like, she was like, when someone passes, it's so hard. Like my husband passed a few years ago and like what's going on about how hard it was. And I thought at first I was like, oh, she's just being like Christian customer service.
right.
And then she was like, and do know when you feel the wind, that is him being present and that is him kissing you.
That's so
And that
beautiful.
she is an angel sent for God. And I was kind of like, okay, when I guess the kissing part, where she was like, every time you feel the wind, it's him kissing you. And I was like, okay, so I'm actually now making out my
But
father.
dad just on, like every time I'm outside, like that's what's so insane. It's just like when they're like, oh, like your spirit is present in butterflies. Whenever you see butterflies, it's like I don't. That's actually an incredibly common thing that happens all the time.
No, I don't see butterflies a lot.
Maybe you're not looking.
Ooh.
Okay, but I guess just to get back to your dad for a second.
Yeah, no,
'cause
no,
Spirit
no.
is
Yeah.
present, and like I think it's important that this episode's happening because we're talking about.
But I do wonder, it's like, of course I laughed. I was like, I wish I was recording. This is the funniest thing ever. I'm like, and it was, because also she didn't stop. It was like, I was like, great, let's, cancel it, go ahead.
Right.
Let's go ahead.
And she was like, no, y'all, like Gabriel's in the room.
No,
Like,
she
we
was like,
gotta get through
Gabriel's
this.
room, and she really went on and talking about, she was telling me about her husband and Yeah, just so much
So
of
she was being like so Delilah.
it was really, she was actually more someone who called into Delilah.
Okay. Because Delilah's always like, and that is so dark, and we will play your song, and thank you.
Yeah, and the woman is like, so I've been having an affair with a man that's in Afghanistan for now 13 years, and he does have a wife, but I am hoping that when he does return from tour, that he will leave her for me. And she's
And
like,
Delilah's like, well, we all make mistakes.
and I do honor the man you're having an affair with for his service.
So you have not felt your dad kissing you every time you hear the wind, I'm guessing?
I don't think so.
But are you also like so butch that you don't notice the wind?
Well, last weekend, my sister and I met for a walk. And it was a cold walk. And it was like, 50 degrees. And then it was so windy in Prospect Park that we had to leave the park.
Spiritus.
And then she was like, I'm hungry. And then she got a burrito and then I bought a record.
And your dad loved
audio, visual, and he liked records because I mean, one of our first, alone post-divorce trips, we just went to New York City. We stayed at the Yale Club, which is where he always stayed. She was very proud of. That was another admin call I had to call.
Because he had like
a membership and they were still charging him membership dues.
Did he also have like so many like martinis that were unpaid?
No, it was just like you just pay a monthly membership so you can stay there.
But you still have to pay to stay there.
Yeah, but it's like a cheaper rate, I guess.
Right.
Or just use their facilities.
Sounds like a real
It's a fucking scam. That's what I'm saying.
Can we go to the bathroom there if we're in Midtown or no? It's over.
I'm sure I bet the hotel is on. But that's the thing, I closed the account. If you live in New York and you're just a member of the Yale Club, you can go there and just like sit in the library and like sit under Bill Clinton,
Incredible.
and get a martini.
What wouldn't I pay? So it's kind of like the wing for Yale grads.
Yes, it's like all those social clubs, like the Soho House, Yale Club.
There used to be social clubs, darling.
Yeah. There's the
but
Princeton Club.
do you think so he may have been there at that windy walk, but not at other times?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was there at the Windy Walk. I'm not sure, but I also do wonder. She talks about.
Well, here's what I'm wondering.
Too soon, maybe to visit.
Are there times though? So she says like she ignored her gift till she was 29. She had all this anxiety and panic attacks around it, and like she was just always seeing visions, always like waking up in the middle of the night screaming.
Spirit is here. It came to me.
Okay.
As you know, we have really even hardly processed this off air, but I decided to move apartments today.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
And the reason for our listeners, it's in a farther neighborhood from Stephen.
Yeah, she's moving to
Didn't miss Park. It's a 40-minute drive versus a 20-minute drive from where I
also
live in
known as
Crown Heights.
North Carolina.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ridgewood is all too far to a lot of people. Anyway, we're not going to do this here because we're talking about spirit.
Okay, so you made this decision to move to North Carolina, and
the apartment has a sunken living room, which is why I was super attracted to it.
Yeah.
My father and I, we loved Frasier. And my dream since ever seeing Frasier.
Oh my God.
Frasier has the sunken living room.
Right.
Overlooking Seattle. And obviously your eyes, you think I'm literally moving to Seattle.
You are.
Anyway, I'm just wondering if the sunken living room is my father saying start anew with the sunken living room, Frasier stuff.
Wow. That's almost him giving you permission to move on.
Yeah, to move on. And not this apartment where I was living in while he was sick, going back and forth from it, bringing all of his furniture. He's saying put my Bauhaus chair in the sunken living room where it's meant to be.
Right. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, and it's almost it's like him giving you permission to pursue your top surgery.
Yes, to recover
because
from top
he's saying
surgery.
You can recover in a sunken living room, and he can say that can still be Frasier.
Yes, it's Frasier to recover from top surgery in a sunken living room.
In a Bauhaus.
In a Bauhaus chair.
Huh.
I want to read a part where she contacts another celebrity historical figure, and in the most Long Island way possible. In Queens, New York, I read a guy who's tattooed, bearded, and tough looking. In a quick flash, I saw Abe Lincoln's soul standing next to him. It was like, boom! Abe Lincoln. I told the guy that Abe was with us, and he flipped because he wasn't only a fan of our 16th president, but also one of those guys who did Civil War reenactments. Oddly enough, I've since heard of other Abe Lincoln spirit sightings throughout Queens. Don't ask me why, though I know Lincoln and his wife were very spiritual, especially after their son William's death. But maybe Abe has a fondness for New York City's boroughs because when he died, his body was paraded through the streets in a funeral march on his final resting spot in Springfield, Illinois. Or maybe he's just hanging around Arthur Avenue hoping to scare up a cannoli. So, yeah, President Abe Lincoln is just waltzing through the streets of Arthur Avenue where...
And again, it's like some middle-aged Italian man is like obsessed with like war stuff.
War
it's like
stuff.
not
And
that
you could,
surprising.
it's like this weird
It's like-
guy loves
it's-
war.
I just feel like,
Okay.
it was so random that Abe Lincoln was paraded through New York. It's just like, well, that was such a thing.
Kind of, there was a few cities and...
There's a few cities he went to. It's kind of the big one. You would do New York if you did a tour of a body. They do never do that anymore.
No, and I wish they did.
Whatever happened to sort of corpse parades? I feel
And
like it was-
what happened to presidential assassination?
I know.
Good.
We've lost the magic.
The
We've lost
romance.
the drama,
The
sweetheart.
conspiracy theories.
I know.
No, I mean, it's that thing where there's so much security in computers that it's like, right, obviously, if it was like the 60s, I feel like Trump would have been assassinated.
Right. Well, I mean, like we can get into the politics later, but it's very this thing where everyone's just like, we live in the craziest time in history. It's like, well, actually in the 60s, everyone was being assassinated left and right.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was so many like high profile assassinations. And it's just like, that's actually not happening right now.
Well, to quote again an essay I wrote in my food and culture class, the 60s were a time of great change. And every single person actually, that it wasn't just me, it was, they said everyone in the entire class had to start their essay with the 60s were a time of great change.
Oh, wait, that was like the fourth
The prompt, yeah.
So it was kind of this exquisite corpse, but like in
Writing
reverse or
exercise.
whatever.
And
Wow.
again, that could be a cool social media thing. Everyone write an essay, start it with
Starts
this.
with the 60s were a time of great change. Post.
Post. Segment is present.
What does she eat? What does she wear? How does she live? She eats spaghetti and meatballs.
Well, okay,
Every
but
Sunday.
well, she's spaghetti and meatballs every Sunday, but I think she's very grilled chicken salad the whole week in a very Italian Long Island way. Just like iceberg cherry tomatoes, Caesar, because the whole throughout the book, she's like, I eat good. And her husband in the episodes, they're like, we take care of our bodies. And I just feel like she's getting like
No, when she says she eats good, she means this like absolute
penne
vat
chicken.
of chicken
yeah.
Caesar.
Yes, it's like chicken
I know.
Caesars.
There's so much like garlic croutons in it.
Right, and it's just like buffalo chicken salads, chicken Caesar salads. It's like, there is a spaghetti and meatballs, but I don't think she's meatballs on a Wednesday.
No, because and
Yeah.
honestly, she, for her age, she's got
She's 50. She's also like
She's pretty
5
like,
feet
trim.
tall.
She's like 5 feet tall. I would say she's got like a pretty flat
Yeah.
tum and like she's
Big
got
taws.
she's got a rack. So it's just like to maintain that curvology is you can't be eating pasta every night.
No, so she's not.
Yeah.
But there's
And she
pesto
does
chicken
not
salad.
drink?
She does not drink, though her husband now that he is kind of finding himself. And I do think it's like their divorce was very sad, but they were both just like, we did get
he
married
stop
at 20.
drinking?
No, he now has a wine line called Lorette. So his name's Larry. So it's called just
which
like,
we desperately
which
need
we
to
desperately
drink.
need. Obviously, we want it for the
The
episode.
fact that we've never had Cameron Diaz's wine
Never had Lorenzo Caputo's wine.
and we're only gonna drink
We've only had SJP's wine.
we only had SGP's wine, which was like pretty normal and like not that good.
Yeah.
And then you have that bottle of wine signed from Big Ange that we're only gonna drink on just like
When we died on our
when we die
deathbed.
on our deathbed.
We had Kate Hudson's vodka, which was like,
Also incredibly normal.
yeah, it was like Smirnoff. Women-made vodka.
Women-led vodka.
I had Post Malone's rosé.
How was that?
Fine.
Was
I
it
mean,
like Babe?
it
Have
was
you had
less-
Babe Rosé, the fat Jewish rosé?
Yeah.
Was it better or
I would say
worse?
better than the Babe rosé.
The Babe Rosé was very like cheesy boots girl rosé, like as it was intended to
Yes,
be.
it was supposed to be. I think this is because I was expecting just like any celeb rosé. You're like, is this going to be so
It's
sweet?
still like harsh and sweet and kind of like a little bit sharp. Okay, so
So-
buffalo chicken salad all week long, then meatballs on Sunday.
Yes.
What
Oh,
is
and of course, sauce from her father's tomatoes garden. Father's tomato garden.
Father's tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
What does she wear?
Where, I mean, yeah, it's
She's
like
very
Diaz-
like mini dress in that way that like if you're 5'1" with Taz, you like wear a
Chub, or it's
tight
like
little bandage dress.
it's super tight
Heels.
tops that like are shorter tops, not like a crop top, but so they accentuate I feel like the
The
tawse.
décolletage.
Exactly. And then like a tight capri. I mean, on the cover, she's wearing
Okay.
like a very, like, it's a skirt. Is it? It's not a dress. Is it a dress? It's more of a skirt suit. She loves this. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not a, it's
a
tank
two,
top.
It's like a two-piece. It's kind of Lori in this way. It's kind of Lori Grenier where it's like a weird like custom separates piece.
Yes, custom separates, you know, and like a big stiletto. She's adding height, obviously, like hair to the gods.
I'm trying to
She
see.
always has
You know
her
what's
kind
interesting
bleach
about
blonde.
her hair is that even though she got like known for her massive hair, she, unlike Snooki, like never had like a makeover. She just still has this insane hair.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's her signature. I think because she's of that middle age that it's like she's never going to stop. And I think it's just been this hair for her whole life.
Because like Snooki eventually like stopped doing the pomp and then started doing more just like regular reality show girl hair of just like slightly
Flares, yeah.
like curled cocker spaniel to the side.
But she's just been 50 in Long Island for like 100 years. So it's like she's just not going to change. I mean, she's going to DSW. She's grabbing heels, but I'm sure she's getting, I'm sure she maybe now has like more custom mini dresses that show off the tawse and are made for her.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like her style's getting even more consistent over time where she's like, this is what works.
This is what works because she's in the show. She's bound, you know, in the Fire Island episode, she was, the dress was this exact same cut except for this weird ruffle of like the bodycon. And it was like glitter pride.
Okay.
It wasn't full pride, but it was like
A subtle
subtle
to
nod to
LGBTQIA
pride.
plus
Yes.
values.
Yes, it was a rainbow of sorts.
How
How
does
does
she live?
I mean, it's
we've watched
island.
the show.
But yeah, it's White Island. Her furniture is not. It's big, but it's not the hugest in a way. You know what I mean? It's
no,
like
it's
medium
it's
Raymore
medium
Flanagan.
Raymore Flanagan's in this way. It's actually very like boat. It's very the furniture you would see on a 90-foot boat. Like it's leather and like curved in this way. There's a lot of kind of
Brown
like
leather, black
brown
leather.
black leather. Like there's glass. There's like a weird mix of colors, but it's like a lot of like color blocking, like
And the
solids.
floor is very white. Also, she has not moved like in her riches. She still lives in the
She lives right next door to her parents.
Yeah. And the house she grew up in.
No, and in that way, she kind of there was when she said that she was like afraid.
She's, you know what?
Oh my God!
She's saying, shut up. Stop making fun of my house.
Stop making fun of me
My
where I
house.
come from.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. It's like I thought only dead people can like make fun of you through spirit.
I think Theresa has higher powers where she is hearing us and she's saying,
Well, it's
"You
also
shut
like
up,
one of
you
her
kids."
loved ones could be telling you to stop making fun of her.
Oh, it's her nanny. Yeah,
it's
her
her
grandma.
nanny, her grandma, who'll be coming through.
And then in her lawn, it's very just like big. Oh, they have a koi pond on the show, which I think that's so like their Long Island upgrade
Well,
from
she
her
talks
being a
about
celeb.
meditation a lot, so I feel like the koi is relaxing.
It's a nod, yeah.
And it's a nod. Okay, who are you in the book?
Wait, okay, who,
Are you the guy who passed and you're like asking his wife to pick the right sheets?
yes. I think you're right because I'm like
'Cause you
seeing
would be
mine
kind of-
beyond being like,
Yeah.
those really?
Really?
Those
Those?
sheets?
And you would come through and you would make yourself present
Yeah,
for
I'd
that
just
decision?
be like, I don't know if those are the sheets. Are you?
I had this fear. I mean, I didn't want to give too much credence to it because I remember the little boy who like knows he's going to die.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I was
Oh.
like, is that me? And I actually,
The one who keeps on telling his parents just like, and then he drowns in the lake? That one?
yeah. And then, and he like knew and he
Oh,
like was like,
God.
buy me a suit for my funeral.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, you're not such a creepy Children of the Corn. Like,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, you want to like your parents to shop for you. But like when you tell your dad, take me to Macy's and buy me underwear, it's not because you want to be buried in Calvin Klein boxer briefs.
No, I certainly don't.
So I don't think you're that little boy. Are you Victoria? Do you have a natural gift for gymnastics with a little bit of medium?
I mean, I really don't think I'm so naturally gifted at gymnastics. Like, I was at the gym today as part of my new regimen, and I was like, stretching is a little bit difficult. Like, I see these drag queens on Drag Race, like, always doing full splits, and I'm just like, how is that even possible?
Okay. I do definitely think you are spirit that has visited Theresa.
Mm-hmm. I'm a pet. I'm a teen who committed suicide in a car accident with his
who's
ex-girlfriend's sister.
Who then shot himself and is coming back to make peace.
Am I a girl with a butterfly tattoo?
Yeah. The girl, she just mentioned that movie, right? Are you just her co-writer?
Oh, her spirit
Kristen,
writer.
who we don't really kind of find out a lot about.
Kristen. Yeah, I can definitely see myself.
It's hard. I mean, and neither of us is Theresa.
I mean, if anyone, you are obviously a much more Theresa, and I do. I mean, okay, here's the thing, though. Like, we are in many ways both like lovers of like mall culture, and that's like we're always going a lot less, and just
like
we do
sifting through flip flops.
We do love to sift through $4 flip flops and like
TJ
buy new trash
Maxx.
cans all the time.
yeah, and like chargers.
So in some way, like we are kind of Theresa, but you know, you're more. I think do have a real
Catholic Italian,
actual Italian background, and like to your credit, you know, are like, meatball marinara.
Right, and sensing
Your
thing through
middle
the
name
meatballs.
is mozzarella. Is that correct?
Yeah, middle name mozzarella. But I also think we also maybe just generally are audience members because the thing we love a show, going to the Caputo, going to the Mentalist, we're like ready there to contact.
You know, actually, I think that's really true. We are in the audience and we're actually not getting read. And this also happened to us at the Mentalist where
we wanted
didn't
to
really
get read
picked,
so bad.
and we really wanted him to like pick our numbers out of the hat or whatever. And like, no, we did not get picked. And Spirit made himself present for like other people in the audience. But
so that was their time.
That was our time. And we were really entertained by the whole process. And we enjoyed it. And we were super respectful of mentalist culture while not necessarily participating.
It's also not that's not the last time we're going to a medium. That's not the last time we're going to a mentalist.
We're going to
Vaccine, we're going
to
back.
support the mentalist and the medium communities.
Yeah, and I
the
hope
work they do.
And if you feel like you are a mentalist or a medium, just this is also, we're new to your culture. So if you are mad that we are putting you together, I'm sorry.
No, I'm deeply apologetic, but please also like write in, call us in, like tell us where we went wrong and how we can do better because we're willing to do the work.
Yes, the work.
Okay. I give this book, I would say 4 out of 5 haunted spirits of like an 11-year-old who killed himself in a boating accident. This book it's very funny and easy to read, and I love those qualities.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give it 3.9
Fair.
meatballs that your grandmother used to make out of 5 meatballs that your grandmother used to make. And she has now passed. I think it's hilarious. I love every single story.
I also feel like for me, it had a Marianne Williamson quality where it did make me like make some connections that I was kind of ready to make. And so I really appreciated that element. Maybe I wouldn't give it such a higher if I wasn't ready to receive this book through my solar plexus chakra.
Right.
But I was ready.
Wow.
So 4 out of 5 chakras. Okay.
Next book, another reality TV maven.
A maveness of fashion and design.
Yeah, basically the most stylish person
in history.
Invented
Tan clothes, Tan France.
And his book is called Naturally Tan.
Great name. I'm sure it's going to be an absolute journey.
Yeah.
I really can't wait. If you don't know, Tan France is obviously from the new iteration of Queer Eye. He is the fashion gay. And I'm excited to learn about what it's like to be 5'4" and wear a blazer. I'm sure I'll be hearing
and
a
just
lot
like
about.
go to Bonobos and like see what your inseam is. You know what I mean? And wear a vest or don't wear a vest. And like, well, you grew up Mormon and we're going to find all about.
Find what's right for you.
Okay,
wait, that was too Australian. Okay.
No.
I'll work on it.
Do you see? Don't you feel so much better in this blazer that fits you? Anyway, join us next week. We're not going to get too into it because, I mean, today...
even you get Australian because
it's hard because if you or I get Irish, it's hard.
Yeah,
accent, yeah.
It's always in there. Okay.
Anyway, follow us at CBC The Pod.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Happy grilled chicken salad.
Week/month.
Month. Yeah, until Sunday, which is meatball day.
Thank you so much for listening. And
also, thank you, Spirit, for coming here and having us here.
And just
be open.
Be open.
Yeah,
we're
open.
not telling you to believe.
No.
We're not telling you what to think. We're just saying be open.
Thank you.
Best.
That was a HeadGum podcast.